Back to another video by the Phantom. Now, this memorial that you see right here, it signifies the Nanjing massacre. And the Nanjing massacre was a massacre committed by the Japanese army during their occupation of China. Now, the Japanese invaded China in 1937. They invaded Manchuria before the took over Manchuria from the Chinese. Then they took over, some parts of China. They couldn't conquer the entire mainland China because the communists, the Chinese communists, Chiang Kai-shek, and the Chinese nationalists were fighting. They were fighting each other at first, but they decided to band together and drive away the Japanese, and then they had a little civil war afterwards. But that's not the reason for this video. That's just a little historical backdrop for any of you guys that don't know about World War II. Check it out. It's a very interesting part of history that we all should know about so that we don't repeat it. But the Nanjing massacre was a atrocity that is widely known by the world, and historians and respected scholars and historians around the world. And I know about this because I'm a big fan of World War II. I'm an avid reader. I read a lot about it, and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I really, study this topic because it's something that I'm passionate about, and I feel that it's a very interesting, time of history to know about, and to also learn about. But I find it interesting that, and I find it interesting, and I find it sick, inhumane, disgusting, vile, and disturbing that the Japanese government, they deny all types of atrocities that they committed in China. They deny the Bataan Death March. They deny the atrocities they committed in the Philippines. The Japanese government denies all of the atrocities that they committed in China. But this is something that they will never be able to live down. The Japanese people and the Japanese government, the Japanese military, it's just a stain on their history, Even if you don't want to acknowledge the stain that's on your t-shirt, that stain is there for the world to see. You can hide it, you can try to cover it with your hand, but eventually your hand's going to have to come down. Eventually that little veil that you have hiding the truth of how much disgust and how much atrocities that those Japanese people committed in World War II. I mean, no hate to the Japanese now. They are part of our country now. They're part of the democracy. They're a part of us now. But I feel that given the fact that they are so quick to deny any type of atrocities that they've committed in their past, I think it says a lot about their character. It says a lot about their about how they view themselves. It says a lot about their arrogance and their propensity to just discount everything someone else is saying. Even if it's something they don't like. I find them to be very arrogant people, very close-minded. It's just something that will never change because they are a very closed society. They're a very conformative society also. Japanese people, they have no personality. They don't really have any individualistic traits. They basically follow a script. Someone gives you a script and you follow that script. It's like an actor. When you're in a movie and the director gives you a script and he says, okay, follow this, make sure you say that at the right time. This is how people live their lives, and I just don't understand how anyone can live their life like conforming to a society that, in all honesty, they don't give a fuck about you because they don't value your individualistic ideas. They only value what you can give to them as a group. Like, they only care about how much you can contribute to them. They don't care about your well-being. And this all goes back to the fact that the Nanjing massacre, what happened in this massacre was just inhumane, sick, vile, and disturbing. Even recounting what happened on this video, very disturbing. What would happen is the Japanese men, they would go from door to door from every single Chinese, as many women as they could find. And there are some accounts that up to 200,000 women were raped just on that day alone. 200,000 people? 200,000 people, dude. Do you know how many people that is? Can you try to count on? Well, you can't count. Even if you try to imagine how many people that is, you still wouldn't come close to the piles of bodies that are the bodies would have to be stacked so high. Just imagining that number and just imagining the amount of people and the suffering that these people went through, it just makes me sick to my stomach. And what makes me even more sick, you know, given the climate that we live in today, and given the fact that in today's age, in the technology era, everything is readily available on the internet. Everything you can find with the snap of your fingers. You type it into Google and there you are. You have your answer. So I find it very, very telling that. Oh, and there's another thing I discovered that was very telling. The Japanese, when they're teaching their students about World War II, they leave out the atrocities that they committed. They leave it out. They blot it out with red ink or black ink or whatever ink you want. It's like reading a book, but the book is so heavily censored that the censorship is a problem because it's taking away from the truth of what happened in that certain situation, and it's covering and not shining a light on the truth. It's bringing everything to the shade so nobody can see it. You know, it's it's disgusting to me. Imagine reading a book and everything's blotted out. All the truth is gone. It's all propaganda. All you learn about is, oh, the Japanese army was doing good in China. They were there to liberate the Chinese people. Come on, man. Even you don't believe that. Nobody believes that. Only the Japanese people believe that. I don't understand how such an intelligent society of people can be so gullible, you know? Goebbels, the Reich Minister of Propaganda, he said it himself. And Hitler, he said it himself. If you can control the media, you can control the entire population. The entire population. It's not possible anymore in today's society because we have the internet. And it's not it's decentralized. It's not controlled by the government. Yes, there are some controls and there are some restrictions on it. And they have monopolized it in some type of way, but still, even with all that being said, it's not something they can just, it's not something they can just flip their fingers and say, oh no, that's not the truth. This is the truth. You see how the media always tries to manipulate shit? You see how Donald Trump was able to get elected to president, and that was the moment that we stopped believing in the media. It's fake news. It is. It is. A lot of them are fake news. Some of them are true, but a lot of them are fake. And those are clicks, and they want to make more money and AdSense revenue. And it's just my little rant, but I really feel for those people, in Nanjing. And the fact that those perpetrators were never brought to justice says a lot about the Japanese people. It says a lot. It says a lot about the Japanese people. I'm sorry, but it does say a lot. It says a lot about the Japanese people. Yeah, man, I'm out. Peace.